Hi everyone, I'm DestroyerMariko and welcome back to another Punk Rave Australia review. Today we're going to be looking at this really cool Gothic cloak, but before we get into that, I do have to let you know that this was sent to me as a gift, but I will give you my honest opinion in every review. So here's the item that we're looking at today. We're just on the Punk Rave Australia website. It's the Gothic wool trim long cloak in red and black, and yeah, it looks pretty amazing, hey. So in the description, the ladies' Gothic wool trim red and black long cloak is made from luxuriously soft furry fabric, generous hood with soft wool trim, layered kappa over shoulders, inspiration from ancient palace roof, wool trim down center front complements the highly detailed embossed fabric and delicate lace, a perfect cloak for those chilly winter days, available in black with wool trim or red and black with wool trim. So yeah, there is a black version, there's also a men's version, I'll show you them in a moment, but there are some that are out of stock. But anyway, yeah, no, so it looks amazing, doesn't it? It's sort of like almost like a Red Riding Hood kind of thing, except she's already killed the wolf. But if you are worried about things like fur and stuff, you can go into specification and you can see what it's made of. So 100% polyester on the lining, polyester, acrylic fiber, and cane Karen, which I'm not sure what that is, but none of it says, like, you know, actual animal fur, so don't worry about that. Let's have a look at the pictures. So yeah, that's that first picture we've already seen. Here's what it looks like in full view. My goodness, look how long it is. And I have been told that this item does run a bit long, and one of the reasons is it's like a single size, one size fits all, so they're trying to cater from your smallest up to your tallest, and you really want to get that dramatic look. So we'll see how long it is on me, and we'll also see some ways that you could maybe wear it, especially if you're smaller like me. But yeah, it looks so cool, so dramatic, and here she looks kind of regal in that pose. And then yeah, this is the rear view, so it has, you can see more of that layering kind of thing, and it kind of gives me like these spiritual religious vibes in a way from this view. And yeah, here we've got the front and the back, just as simple on the mannequin, a close-up of the fluffy bits. And then we've got the size chart, so at the end of their line of pictures they always have a size chart for each item. Now in this one, because there's only one size, you would look at that top line, and so that's catering for everyone from extra small to 2XL. I usually fit in the small size, so yeah, we'll see how it looks on me. Yeah, so as you can see, there's no size in this bit where you would usually see it, and that's an indication that there's only one size for it. Other things, so you can see it's in stock, you can see it's coming from China, we can talk about that. Also, the price, so we will talk about this, because like, yeah, I've been asked, you know, what do you think, is it worth it? So this is one of their pricier items, over $200, you don't see that a lot. But yeah, I mean, I'm gonna go out on a limb and say it probably is worth it, but yeah, we'll try it on and then we'll have a talk about that a bit later. So that's this item. Now if I can get this right, here is the black version. Unfortunately it is sold out, but you know, it looks pretty cool. Like I would go with either the red or the black. They're both amazing. They both have a different vibe. Now the men's red one is also sold out at the moment, but yeah, you can always put your name in and, you know, find out when it's coming back, cross fingers. But they do have the black one for men's, so yeah, if you're out there looking for that. Of course, you know, if you're smaller, it's gonna be way too big. But anyway, that's the website. Let's get back to opening things. Okay, so here is the bag that it comes in. Now, obviously, it didn't ship like this. Usually, I would do an unboxing at this point, but they actually sent everything to me for 4 reviews in one go last video. So if you want to see the actual opening of the box, I would recommend checking that out. But yeah, so they put it in this huge box all together with other stuff, and it was really well taped up. Now that was for multiple items. Usually in the past when it's been one item, I'm not sure about one this big, but usually they've sent it in like a sort of plastic satchel, and yeah, they do make sure that it's all nicely secure. Now that one took about a week. Which I thought was pretty good because, you know, shipping has been disrupted around the world, and so yeah, I'm really impressed with how on top, like even coming from China, I wasn't waiting very long for it. So I think that's everything about the shipping. I guess we will just get straight into opening this, and yeah, so big bag, a little bit heavy, and you know it's gonna be epic. So here we go, let me open it. Hang on, I'll get this. Yeah. Whoa! Oh my goodness! Wow! Oh my gosh! Oh wow! It's just sort of all unfolding in front of me now. There is probably going to be a silica packet in here. Oh my gosh, wow. So I feel like I should be showing this to you standing up rather than sitting down because it's huge. But yeah, no, I'm already noticing some details that we weren't able to see on the website. So let's go through some of the things. Let's start with the fabric first, and we'll start with the fluffy bit because the fluffy bit is so exciting. I love fluffy stuff. But yeah, so just feeling it, like it's actually really soft. And I don't know if you guys who've ever played with fake fur before, and sometimes like it can be really coarse and rough and just not nice, but this is like, I'm really impressed with how this feels. It's actually like soft, and I could be like, yeah, yeah, wow, I wasn't expecting it to be so nice. So that's really great. Now the red part of the fabric, so at a distance on the website pictures, it kind of just looked like, you know, a dark red kind of fabric. But actually now that I can see it in person, there's actually like, it's sort of like a mottled mix of that dark red and black. So there's actually a texture to it, if that's a better way to describe it. I'm not sure how much you can really see on the camera, but hopefully you get a little bit of an impression. Like really need to get close to really see what's going on there. But yeah, it's interesting. It makes it a bit more interesting than if it was just a flat color. So yeah, and in terms of the feel, so yeah, it's not overly thick, but it's also not thin and flimsy either. So yeah, it's sort of that in-between kind of vibe. Now the inside fabric, which we didn't really hear about so much on the website, it's this black, shiny kind of color, and it's got this pattern. Sorry, if I can just get away from the wrinkly bits. Yeah, you can see that patterning there, and we've seen that on some of Punk Rave Australia's designs before, and it's really cool. Like, yeah, it's on the inside, and so you could easily do some kind of simple black and not worry about the detail, but this is something they always do. This incredible detailed stuff, and it feels really soft and silky, so if you're wearing this over an outfit, it's just going to slide over it. It doesn't feel like it's going to get caught on anything, so the design choice with that is really cool. Now something I've just noticed along the bottom with the way the fabrics connect, so along here it's all stitched together into the red. There's sort of like a red lining. So this is the outside, this is the inside, you've got a bit of red, then it transitions into the black. But there's actually, it's kind of open from here, and you can see the other side of the red fabric, which is interesting. I'm not sure if that has a function or if it's just an interesting choice. But yeah, that's something interesting. If you wanted to be able to see what the red's like underneath, that's what it is. And yeah, they've stitched this sort of black seam along the edge of that. So those are the main fabric types, but sort of on a related note in terms of feature slash fabric is these bits, which I didn't realize they're actually kind of stiff. Whereas like, you know, this is just sort of flowy. These bits have some kind of reinforcement inside them, and yeah, I can't see what that is because on the outside it's got that red fabric, on the inside it's got that black fabric, which is really cool contrast. Like when I opened it, I was like, oh my gosh! Yeah, and then you can see they've got this sort of, that's the lace bit on the edges. But yeah, so this part is actually thick and has a little bit of a weight to it, so that'll be interesting to see whether it affects the way it sits on you, or yeah, I'm not really sure exactly what the function of that is or even what's inside it, but that was an interesting thing I didn't pick up from the website at all. These are not just dead floppy things, they've got some shape to them, I guess, maybe. So I guess we keep talking about features now. Here's the hood. And so like pretty much all the Punk Rave Australia hoods I've come across, it's a decent size, although I will say that this is one slightly smaller than some of the ones I've seen. So some of the previous ones I've reviewed had these huge ones that like just fall over your face, which is always fun. This one feels like it's less designed to do that. I guess it's going for a different vibe. Those other ones were more like punk, whereas this is a bit more fancy. I don't have a better word other than fancy. But yeah, no, it's a generous size hood. Coming down a bit further, another thing we didn't really see on the website is this tie-up section. And yeah, so these ones, they're that red fabric, but they have this trimming on the edges, which is pretty cute. And in terms of feel, well, they look like they're the red fabric folded over, but they're actually a little bit thicker than that. So yeah, nice and chunky. Now here's something interesting. It's a little opening. I wasn't sure what it was. At first I thought maybe it was a pocket or something, but it actually is from the inside and like that. So considering this is a cloak, right, this isn't the kind of thing that has sleeves. So if you're all snug in there, maybe you don't want to open the whole thing up and, you know, let out all the warm air. You can just put your little hand out one of these little holes. I think that's really clever. I mean, I've never really used something like that before, but when we try it on, we'll see how that goes. And here's what it's like from the inside, just so you can see that. But yeah, there's lots of little details that we didn't really see on the website. So yeah, it's really interesting seeing what's actually going on in this. And in case you're wondering, just around the bottom edge, it's just sort of sewn as a seam. There's nothing raggedy like in the more punk kind of things. It's like properly finished like that. Yeah, okay, so I think we've covered everything. There were a few surprises that I wasn't expecting, so if I come across any more as I'm trying it on, I'll let you know. But yeah, so trying it on is the next thing. I'll try it with a few different outfits underneath, just so we can get a vibe for what it's going to look like. I mean, it's outerwear, so what you're wearing underneath can change, and yeah, well, we'll try some things on so we can make some decisions about, you know, what looks nice with it. So yeah, that's what I'm going to do. Going to put it on, we'll do some twirls. Alright, so here's how it looks on me. Now as we go through and do some twirls, I'm going to put my measurements on this side and the cloak's measurements on this side. And I think I'll also put a note on screen just to let you know what I'm changing with each outfit. And hopefully that'll give you a better idea of how you might wear this and how it might change depending on what you've got on underneath. So without further ado, let's get into some twirls. So I hope you enjoyed all those twirls and looking at all the different outfits that I've tried it on with. I hope that was helpful. So yeah, let's talk about my impressions of it now that I've tried it on. So in terms of the size, as you could see, when I was just wearing flat shoes, it was pretty long and like touching the ground. And I did find walking around in that it was a little bit tricky. Like it wasn't too bad, but I think if you were any shorter than me, it might be a tripping hazard. So Obviously, platforms were the best way to go for that. So here's my platforms, and just to give you an idea of size, at its shortest, it's giving me about an extra 8 centimeters of height, and at the tallest, it's giving me an extra 10 centimeters. So if you are on the short side like me, I hope that's helpful in giving you an idea of how much extra height you might need to wear something like this. And this isn't the first time that I've used platforms to get me a little bit of extra height. That red dress that I was wearing, I actually reviewed maybe 2 years ago, and I did the same thing because it was just on that edge of dragging. And yeah, so anytime that something seems a little bit too tall for you, if the platforms work, that's a good way to get around that. Now, other things about the size and fit. So apart from the shoes, you can see I tried on a few other different things just to see what it's like, because this is outerwear. So, you know, you might have a variety of different outfits that you want to wear it with. And so I tried it with the big puffy winter jacket. So if you live somewhere really cold, would you be able to wear this? I'd say the answer is yes, because it's just got so much space underneath it, and the way it sits, like even having that extra puffiness underneath, I didn't notice a huge amount of difference. Like, it still has that nice look. It doesn't look like you're trying to stuff a whole bunch of stuff under there. Like, it still looks natural, it still looks nice. So yeah, if you live somewhere cold and because this is one of the things I found when I was in Japan and it was really cold there, I was just wearing all my winter gear, and my winter gear is not stylish. So, you know, if you're in that kind of situation, I think this is a fantastic way to add a bit of extra style. The other thing I tried with that red dress, I actually put a bustle underneath, and it's the bustle that I reviewed about a year ago that I wore with my steampunk outfit, the steampunk Lolita. And yeah, just for fun, because I've never worn a bustle with that red dress before. And yeah, same kind of thing. Maybe you noticed a little bit of extra width towards the bottom with the way this was sitting, but overall, yeah, it kind of just hides everything amazingly. And yeah, if you want to make an entrance, like, you could also use this to hide what you're wearing, and then boom, here's the reveal. Yeah, so in terms of like what you can wear underneath it, it's incredibly versatile, and yeah, I'm super impressed by that. Another thing that I'm really happy about is, like, I can wear my super long spikes underneath and it doesn't really get in the way. Like, there's actually space for that. And also, when I was unpacking it, you know, I said the hood's not a hugely big one, but actually I wasn't taking into account the way that it sits once you've got it on. Like, I completely underestimated just looking at the fabric there. It's actually really generous, and if I pull it all the way down, it's very much like other punk rave hoods. Like, there's so much space under here. I think just because it's a cloak and I'm not used to the cloak style. Yeah, I think I just completely underestimated. I don't know how. Now, one thing you might have noticed about the way that I've worn this is I've kept this tied up at the top regardless of the outfit, and personally I just feel like that's a bit more of a secure way to wear it. I think in the black women's version on the website she hadn't tied it up and was just wearing it loose, but for me, I don't know, it feels like it might fall off a little bit. I don't know if that's because I'm small and I can't really fill it up around the shoulders as much or what, but I just feel like it's more secure having that instead of relying on, I think she's using the hood to keep it on, but even when I just had the hood on, if I didn't have this tied up, it didn't really feel secure. It was sort of dropping down a bit. So I would recommend keeping that tied up while you're wearing this. Now, as for the armholes, I'm surprised to say I think they're actually more functional than I originally gave them credit. You know, my whole idea was you're super snug and you just want to reach out, sneak and reach out for something. But no, actually, I think you could wear it just having both hands in there and just walk around like that if you wanted to, rather than just doing the snug cloak thing. I do think they're more functional. You can wear them. I hope you could see how I was doing that in some of the twirling. So yeah, surprising that. They're still not quite the same as having sleeves, but given that this fabric is so flexible, you don't really notice any trouble. Like, you're not like a T-Rex trying to do stuff. You can actually move around as you would normally, and it doesn't get in the way at all. So I guess that's just another thing that adds to the versatility of this cloak. Now, as for fabric and how it feels, we went through that when we were unpacking it. The main thing that you notice is the silkiness on the inside, and yeah, it feels nice, it feels comfortable, and then, you know, if you're around here, you get the fluffiness on your arms, and that's all nice and good because it is like soft fluffiness, not horrible fluffiness like I've seen in the past. So yeah, impressed with that. It's also a lot warmer than I was expecting because, you know, the fabric is not really that thick, so I was expecting it to just be more for show, but as I've been moving around, it's actually keeping the heat in pretty well, and yeah, it was surprising. Now, I have had coats from other brands that have a similar sort of fluffiness around the hood, but whenever I've worn them, you can tell straight away that they're not designed to keep you warm. Whereas I am surprised to say, like, I'm so much warmer than I was expecting to be in this. Add to that you can actually wear bulky jackets and so on underneath this and not ruin the look of it. Yeah, I think this actually is a really good one for winter. Now, I know what some of my overseas viewers are thinking, and they're like, oh, but Australian winter's not that bad. But as I said, because I could wear that bulky jacket, like it's practically a ski jacket, yeah, you could wear this overseas where it actually snows too. So super interesting. Like, you know, this looked amazing when I saw it on the website, but also like every step of the way it's had such unexpected things for me, you know. First of all, unpacking it and seeing all the extra details that I didn't pick up from just the website, and then trying it on and like realizing that it is a lot more versatile than I was expecting. But in terms of how it looks, I think I really did underestimate just how dramatic it is, because there's only so much you can see from those pictures, and the models are all set up in a particular way, and you know, I'm not the same size as them and all that. And yeah, so the moment that I put it on, I was like, oh my god, I feel like royalty. I think something to do with the way that they've done these shoulder bits, it just changes the way that it sits on you. So like, you know, I've had other cloaks and stuff before, but they kind of just fall down, they kind of just fall around your body, and I'm kind of small. But this one, it kind of like, how do I describe? I guess it like, maybe it widens the silhouette a bit, and it makes it look more imposing or more authoritative. I'm not really sure what's the right word for it, but I think maybe you can see, you know, especially if you've seen some of my older stuff, like just how it changes the look for me. But so thinking about how dramatic this thing is, because yeah, it's amazing. Some of you might be thinking like, you know, in what situation would I wear something this fancy? And I guess it depends a bit on what kind of person you are and what your fashion sense is, because I know that like me and my friends, we will sometimes like just go all out and look super dramatic wherever we go, and that's kind of our fun. But if that's not for you, if you're usually like sort of more in the middle of the road, or you don't want to draw that much attention to you all the time, it might be more of a special occasions thing. So I know some people buy more of this fancy kind of stuff if they've got formals on, or yeah, just special events and such, and so that might work out better for you. Really though, even though it's dramatic, the versatility I think means that you can wear it wherever you want. So like me and my dramatic friends, or potentially you and your formal occasions, like there's a wide range. I mean, I'm wearing kind of a punk thing underneath this. I've changed out of that dress. You can see I'm back in this outfit. But yes, I'm sort of wearing more of a punk kind of thing underneath it, which I think is a really interesting contrast. But you can wear those, you know, frillier skirts and dresses like I did with the red dress. So it's really up to you to decide in what situation you would wear this, but hopefully by showing you a few different outfits, I've given you a few ideas for that. But so the last thing I guess we'll look at is the price, and I got a question, which is, does it offer value for money when you're looking at the retail price, the brand label, fabrics, construction, and sizing? Now this is a tricky one for me to answer because I did get this as a gift, and so, you know, you might be thinking, well, it's easy for you to say stuff because you don't have to pay for it. But I guess if I'm thinking about it right, so to get something like this really interesting and really nicely made, like it's not thin and flimsy, it actually feels solid, it feels nice, it looks good. Yeah, it has some really nice little features and all that kind of stuff. To find something like this, I mean, I don't know where I would go if I wanted this apart from Punk Rave Australia. There used to be a place in Sydney that did a lot of interesting custom stuff, and maybe they could have made something like this, but they would have charged so much. I don't know, I guess that's the best comparison I can think of in terms of value for money if you're in the market for something like this. I mean, so price, it is on the pricier end of Gothic alternative items in general, but in terms of like what it actually is, it feels like really nicely priced. I'm not really sure how to answer the question about the brand label because it's not like this has some huge logo that's going to advertise to everyone that you're wearing Punk Rave Australia stuff. But I do like the brand. You know, I wouldn't be making reviews all the time if I didn't like it, so I hope that's kind of helpful for that part of the question. Now the fabrics and construction, even though it's not made by one of those, you know, super fancy, custom designed, super expensive people, I'm actually like really impressed. Like for the price, what you're getting, you know, as I've mentioned, the really soft, you know, fluffiness, the interesting fabrics on the outside, the fact that they didn't skimp on the lining on the inside, the way that these things are designed, the way that it sits, like it's really impressive considering it's not like one of those super designer things. I'd say perhaps the biggest difficulty with this is just the sizing, because like, you know, if you were getting this custom made fancy whatever, they'd be able to make it perfectly to your size. But if you're short like me, buying this one, which is one size only, then you are going to need probably some platform boots. And depending on what your style is and what you go with, like these ones were not cheap, so that kind of adds to the overall price of your entire outfit. I think the only other thing I can think of in terms of value for money is related to how you personally wear it. Someone like me can go lots of places and really get some value and wear out of it because I'm that sort of dramatic person. If you're only going to wear it once off though, I guess it depends because, you know, if it's for a formal, for example, people can spend like, you know, thousands of dollars on dresses and so on, when this looks really nice for $200. So even if you're only wearing it once, I guess compare it to what your other options are. In general though, I'd say you'd get your best value for money if you are wearing this a lot of places, and winter is coming up in Sydney in Australia. So yeah, I have more opportunities to wear this over the next little while. I've just got to find more places to go. So I hope this video has been helpful, especially if you're looking at things like size, fit, fabric quality, you know, how it feels, how it looks, the different ways that you can wear it, and now also value for money. I'm really enjoying it, and it's so wonderfully dramatic. And the surprise word for me today for this, to describe this, would be versatility. I did not really expect it to be as versatile as it is. So I'd say that sums up my overall opinion. Now, if you are thinking of buying this, for the first 30 days, after it goes live on the Punk Rave Australia YouTube channel and also on my YouTube channel, there's going to be a 20% discount that's automatically applied when you put this in your cart. And since this is one of the pricier items, 20% off is a decent discount. So I would say go and get it. Thank you as always to Punk Rave Australia for having me and for sending me such a cool item. I'm really enjoying this cloak. Oh my gosh, I can't wait to go out and about in this. I was hoping to get some pictures outside today, but it's actually really gloomy and rainy. But yeah, I can't wait to go out. Now, if you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, share, subscribe, maybe leave a comment to tell us what you think. Thank you all for watching, and I'll see you next time when we look at these, and we're going to be doing a video about accessories. See you then, guys.